Hey, Sox fans, it's the home opener. The White Sox will send Vince Velasquez to the Hill to battle an improved Seattle Mariners team. And what ballpark food have you been craving during this offseason?
You are Locked On White Sox, your daily Chicago White Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On White Sox. Thank you for making Locked On White Sox your first listen each and every day. We're free and available on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Locked On White Sox. Hey, I'm your host, Nick Morawski, a lifelong diehard Chicago White Sox fan, recording this podcast just blocks from the ballpark in beautiful Bridgeport. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. Really appreciate you letting me steal some of your time to talk White Sox. Locked On White Sox is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We are going to talk ballpark food and drink at Sox Park. It's, of course, the home opener. I want to talk any traditions you may have. But first, let's talk about this matchup with the Seattle Mariners and who the Sox are going to send to the Hill for the opener. Of course, the Sox are 2-1. They are the only AL Central team that had the day off on Monday. No baseball. It's difficult. I don't know about you, but I ended up rewatching that Sunday thumping on Detroit 10-1. It was great to rewatch that game. Andrew Vaughn is an absolute beast. So it's weird when there's no baseball. And what do you do? So it was nice to have that game. Just to go back and relive that. It was a great Sunday game. Seattle is coming into town. Sox host them today at 3:10. They'll be around for 3 games, and then Tampa Bay comes into town. Gates open 90 minutes before this game, and first 20,000 fans receive an AL Central Division Champs pennant. So it's the first stadium giveaway of the season. No more magnetic schedules. Remember when that was a thing, when you got those large magnetic schedules? That was usually your first giveaway, the first few games of the season. I have not seen that on the schedule yet. Last year, the Sox were 3-3 versus the Mariners with a +3 run diff. Seattle ended up playing Minnesota on Monday night. Well, of course, we had the day off. I'm not sure if that'll play into anything. But the Sox are sending a 29-year-old Vince Velasquez to the Hill. In this past spring training, Velasquez pitched in 4 games. 8 2/3 innings, gave up 3 home runs, had 5 walks, 10 strikeouts with a 7.27 ERA. His career numbers during, of course, the regular season through 7 seasons, 156 games, 127 games started, and a career ERA of 4.95. So, we get him from the Phillies this offseason. And he's not, of course, the starting pitcher that most Sox fans, or really any Sox fans, were wanting. He seems to be a bit of a project. He's got a fastball sitting in the mid-90s. He's got a changeup and slider that worked well in spring training. Obviously, the organization thought highly enough of him to plug him into the rotation instead of a guy like Lopez, as we, of course, wait for Lance Lynn to come back from his injury and whatever's going to be happening with Giolito. I was reading on the Athletic today, James Fegan, who writes and covers for the Sox, does an outstanding job. I got some quotes here from Ethan Katz on Velasquez. This is what Katz had to say. There's some stuff that he's worked on from the delivery standpoint, and there's some little things we've added to that as well, Katz said. He had a very good offseason. That was one of the things that he said when talking to him when trying to sign him. And you want to respect when a guy has a really good offseason and how much he's looking forward to a season, what he's done, and just trying to complement what he's been doing. observe it, kind of see his pre-work stuff, and kind of just find ways to support that. When the timing's right, add to the playbook and respect what he's done. That's why we signed him. I don't know. From just reading into that quote, it feels like they, and by they I mean the White Sox organization, are just hoping that they capture kind of lightning. And I don't know if this is a long-term solution. I don't know if this is just a placeholder. Maybe he goes back to the bullpen for long relief, kind of what they maybe envisioned him to be. But you can never have enough pitching. Look at the issues that we're dealing with right now. Katz has been credited with working some magic last year on Rodon and maybe even Cease and Giolito. So is Velasquez a guy that's going to actually provide value, or just simply a holding place for when Lynn comes back? We'll see. All eyes will be on Velasquez, and I'm rooting for him. Of course, you don't want him to fail. I think the Sox are still going to be looking for more pitching as this season unfolds. It's going to be through externally. It's going to be something that they're going to have to package some guys up. But you can never have enough pitching. And, with 3.5 week spring training, I don't think we're the only team that is going to be dealing with some arm issues. So are you headed to 35th and Shields today to see Vince Velasquez and your 2-1 White Sox? Let's talk about home opener traditions. More on that in just a moment. Hey, BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your betting stats and sports information. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs and the start of the Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. Wanted to just highlight a couple things that are very Sox-centric with BetOnline. In terms of Jose Abreu, they have the over-under set at 29.5 for total home runs in the 2022 regular season. I'm leaning under on that for Abreu. In terms of RBIs, the over-under is set at 105.5 for Abreu. I am going over on that, so get over to betonline.net. Thanks for making Locked On White Sox your first listen every day. Locked On MLB Prospects host Lindsey Crosby is a prospect encyclopedia, and he's going deep on the MLB stars of tomorrow. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. So right up there with opening day is, of course, the home opener. Last year, year 2021, capacity was set at 20%. So roughly 8,000 fans saw the Sox beat the Royals 6-0. There was a weather delay in that game and a consistent kind of mist throughout the game. It should be different for Tuesday's home opener. Temps looking to be in the mid to maybe high 60s. And that rain looks to be pushed out maybe into the evening. I think we're going to get this game in. Your mean Mercedes last year during the home opener hit a home run to left center field that further fueled the Yerminator excitement. Great restaurant here in Bridgeport, Freddy's on 31st Street, created a burger and sold it for $4.85 because Yermin's home run went 485 feet during that home opener. I was there, and I was in the left field area. Where Mercedes' home run landed was just a section over to my left. It was majestic, and I ended up getting over to Freddy's. This was towards the end of the Yerminator era. Had the burger, and it was pretty good too, but Freddy's has got a lot of great stuff. This year, the stadium will be at full capacity. Hopefully 40,000 in attendance to see the Sox and Mariners. Just mentioned that forecast is looking promising, which is really nice. I've been to some home openers in flurries very cold, 30-degree temps, sat through some rain delays. I've been in the stadium and had the game just canceled and rescheduled. So this forecast of 60s is a bit foreign as a Sox fan, but welcomed. Cannot wait to get into that stadium. The walk there, and obviously, if you're coming into tailgate, Lot B is going to be rocking. There's a lot of great spots around the stadium. It's fun to sometimes just get there ahead of time and walk around to the different parking lots and tailgates to see what's going on and mingle with other Sox fans. It's been a long off season, so this day is really treated like a holiday. And tailgating, is definitely not an option at every stadium. I think we might take it for granted a little bit as Sox fans. I have traveled around the country to see the Sox play in so many different cities. I think I'm up to where it's somewhere like 17, 18 different ballparks. And, a lot of these ballparks now, these modern parks are built right downtown in the middle of the city where parking is really not an option. They don't have these big lots. So, folks coming out to the Sox games this year, if you're new to the area, if you maybe just moved back and you're ready to get back into the tailgating spirit, bring the bag sets, bring the grills, bring the pop-up tents, the music, the coolers. It's such a great time. And with the weather shaping up the way it is, it's an added bonus to get that tailgate time in. It's going to be nice to have Jimenez in the lineup. He missed last year's home opener. The Sox, though, still dealing with injuries. Moncada and Pollock will not be part of that lineup, but still a lot of firepower. If you're not going to the game, are you taking the day off? Are you going to be celebrating with friends and family, having your own party? I've done that before, too. Sometimes it's kind of nice. Maybe you just want to, invade somebody's basement or garage and kind of recreate the experience if you're not interested in driving down to the south side. It's just a fun start to the season. And that's the most obvious thing to say, really. But, you would love the opening day and home opener. It's the same time, opening day, home opener. But, the Sox haven't had that in quite some time. So, we're going to celebrate this home opener and this opening series with Seattle and Tampa Bay. First 20,000, again, are receiving that pennant commemorating the AL Central Division Championship. You want to get there early. There's usually a ceremony before the game. Players paraded through sometimes in convertibles. This has been a thing over the last couple years where they enter through center field wall and they go around the warning track. It's nice to get into the seats ahead of time and just even walk the ballpark a little bit ahead of time just to see all the new improvements and get a sense of what kind of food options are there, because we're going to break down some new food and drink that will be available at the ballpark that this season. Going to do that in just a moment. This episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure often pointless or seemingly intimidating questions and wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer, choosing the only brand their warehouse happens to carry? You have computers with access to rockauto.com at home and in your pocket. Save time and money when using Rock Auto. Rock Auto is a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. Go explore their easy-to-use website today to find the solution to your auto parts needs. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Write Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. So let's talk a little bit about ballpark food. Everybody's got their staples, their favorites. We'll get to some of those in a moment. But there's a lot of new items, and there always are at Sox Park, not only to eat, but also to drink. Returning this year, it went away and it's back, are the cheddar pierogies. And I think that's going to be on the lower section, section 126. I was reading several articles were out, last week, a couple days ago, more folks weighing in on all the different options. And pierogies, fan favorite, they're coming back. There's a pretzel wrapped bratwurst, and there are blue moon brats that are available. There's also something called the heater, a jalapeno cheddar sausage topped with sriracha mayonnaise, and that is going to be available at Brat Portables. Now, I don't know if these are little carts that they're going to have around the stadium with all these different types of bratwurst options, but I saw some pictures of this in a few of the articles I was reading. The pretzel wrapped brat looks very tasty, but this heater situation, I'm gonna have to seek this out. For the sweet tooth, Rainbow Cone is making its first appearance, as far as I know, at Sox Park, and this is the longtime establishment on the South Side in Beverly. And I'm telling you, it's going to be packed, this location, especially during the summer. Rainbow Cone is a real South Side treat. Wait till you see people walking around with these things. And it's going to be in the 60s on the home opener. Not a bad day to have some ice cream. Smoked wings are going to be available at the club level. Diamond Suites, a guaranteed rate club, and Scout seats. There is a Hiracha churro milkshake. Have you seen pictures of this thing? It's going to be in the Stadium Club. But if you're looking for a horchata churro milkshake, available in the Stadium Club. I don't know if you've seen pictures of this thing. If you're looking for an horchata churro milkshake, there's a restaurant that's in Bridgeport, 35th and Morgan, called Antique Taco. They've got an horchata milkshake. It is outstanding. So if you're in that area and you wanted to get a milkshake, you're worried about the lines, perhaps, go check that restaurant out. Beer cheese burgers are going to be available in the suites. And there's always the staples. Everybody's got their favorites that they've been waiting for all off season long. The hot dog or the Polish with grilled onions. The trick to that one is you're going to want to wait, a couple innings, let the onions do their thing on the flat top grill, and then get over there maybe in the third inning. I've had some of those early on. I couldn't wait. I got into the ballpark and the onions were still a little raw. Wait a little bit for those onions to sit there on that grill. Just a little veteran tip there for you. Something called the Comiskey Burger. This came around a few years ago. There's one available on the 500 level, and there's one available on the 100 level. It's a double patty with that Merck's cheese and some pico de gallo. Comiskey Burger, outstanding. I'll be looking for one of those probably on Tuesday. Cubano sandwich, it's always a good one. Elotes, helmet Sunday. You can't go wrong with one of those. And bone of beef. Pizza options as well. Beggar's Pizza has been around for several years. They've got multiple locations. So not just eating, but also drinking. There's some breweries being featured for the first time and some that are returning. 75 craft beers from 46 breweries. Allagash, Blake's Hard Cider, Buckle Down Brewing, Burnt City, Forbidden Root, Midwest Coast Brewing, Sketchbook Brewing, and Spiteful, just to name a few. And of course, the White Sox, I'm sure you've heard about this. The White Sox have renewed their relationship with Miller Lite, so there's no more Goose Island or that large fiberglass goose out in right field. It's now Miller Lite Landing. There's also a Leinenkugel Craft Lounge, which was formerly the Goose Island, I believe, sports bar, and a Vizzy View Bar that is taking over the old Revolution Brewing social tap room. So lots of changes there on the beer alcohol side. Now, if you get to the neighborhood ahead of time, I mentioned Freddy's on 31st. I talked about Antique Taco. There's a lot of different options if you decide to get to the neighborhood ahead of time, and you might want to eat and then make your way over. Maybe you want to park at the stadium and then walk throughout the neighborhood and get something to eat. I know that happens as well. There's a great deli called Kathy D's. They have some odd hours, but they close at 4 p.m. and not open on Sunday. So some of those day games could be a good option. Great sandwiches, Jackalope Coffee, Punky's Pizza. Phil's Pizza, of course, is also a favorite. They don't open until 4. 35th Street Red Hots, you know where that is. That's right by the stadium. Cork and Carry and Turtles, Shinnick's, great bars. Buffalo Wings and Rings on Halstead. Of course, always Rick Benny's. Just send me a direct message on Twitter, and I'll try to help steer you in the right direction with food available in the area. It's exciting to have the Sox back in town. We just anticipate this to be a very exciting, very fun year. Yes, there's been some injuries. We're going to deal with injuries throughout this season. It's just, the name of the game. It's exciting, though, to see what our offense did in Detroit. I'm looking forward to seeing Andrew Vaughn, Robert Jimenez, and I will be watching Vince Velasquez very closely, to see what he's got and what he can deliver. It should be a little bit of a rested bullpen with the day off on Monday. Hendricks definitely should be available. Really appreciate you listening. You can find this podcast everywhere you find your podcasts. We are on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. Thanks for making Locked On White Sox your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB. Paul Francis Sullivan, just call him Sully, brings you his unique perspective on the major leagues past and present. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up on the next episode, I'll break down Game 1 between the Sox and Mariners, as well as my home opener experience. Really appreciate you making Locked On White Sox your first listen each and every day. I'm Nick Morawski. Until next time, go Sox.